The Court considers that, with regard to the present situation, Israel must, in accordance with its obligations under the Genocide Convention, in relation to Palestinians in Gaza, take all measures within its power to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention.
An interim ruling by the UN's judicial organ imposing provisional measures on Israel that did not include an order on an immediate ceasefire, but made several demands on Israel's actions that were welcomed by South Africa.
The ICJ, as the principal judicial organ of the United Nations, has handed down a ruling that the State of Israel should immediately implement a set of provisional measures to prevent any further acts of genocide in Gaza, and to desist from such acts and to take effective measures to prevent the destruction and ensure the preservation of evidence relating to acts of genocide. As the South African government, we welcome the decision of the International Court of Justice.
The court's provisional measures order Israel and its military to comply with its obligations under the Genocide Convention, including to prevent the killing of Palestinians or causing them serious bodily or mental harm. That Israel take all measures to prevent and punish direct incitement to commit genocide in Gaza. That Israel must take immediate and effective measures to provide urgently needed basic services and humanitarian assistance in Gaza. That it preserves evidence related to acts within the scope of the convention, and that Israel reports back to the court on implementation on the measures within 1 month. The UN Secretary-General noted the decision that did not accede to his call for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire.
The Secretary-General recalls that pursuant to the Charter and to the statute of the court, decisions of the court are binding, and trusts that all parties will duly comply with the order from the court. In accordance with the statute of the International Court of Justice, the Secretary-General will promptly transmit the notice of the provisional measures ordered by the court to the Security Council.
Several EU countries, including France, Germany, Spain and Belgium, affirmed their support for the court and international law, urging parties to comply with the court's decision, while the United States called the ruling consistent with its views on the matter to date.
The court's ruling is consistent with many of our positions, and much of the approach that we've taken with Israel. For instance, in the view that Israel has the right to take action against the terrorists on the October 7th attack, that they have an obligation to be mindful of minimizing civilian casualties, that they have an obligation to assist the international community to get humanitarian assistance. South Africa filed a case based on allegations that they believe genocide was being conducted by Israel in Gaza. I don't believe it was directed at us at all. We simply have said consistently we find that claim is unfounded. And the court also did not find Israel guilty of genocide.
Palestine welcomed the judgment.
They ruled in favor of humanity and international law. We call in all states to ensure that all provisional measures ordered by the court are implemented, including by Israel, the occupying power. This is a binding legal obligation. States now have clear legal obligations to stop Israel's genocidal war on the Palestinian people in Gaza and to make sure that they are not complicit.
Israel's UN envoy responded to the ruling at an annual International Holocaust Remembrance Day event in the General Assembly, which coincided with the court's ruling on Friday.
Today of all days, the day that we commemorate the genocide of the Jewish people and swear here never again, the International Court of Justice made it clear that it won't reject outright the case of a Nazi terror organization that seeks to commit genocide against the Jewish people. It's outrageous. Every year we dedicate this day to discuss the surging Jew hatred poisoning the world. And this year, the year in which the largest number of Jews were massacred since the Holocaust, anti-Semitism has risen to heights not seen since the Nuremberg laws. we can only draw one conclusion, a sad conclusion. The UN has failed in its mission.
As the death toll in Gaza now exceeds 26,000, with tens of thousands more injured, hundreds of thousands facing famine, and almost the entire population living in appalling conditions, the world is watching to see if the court's decision will change the character of Israel's offensive against Hamas in the enclave. Sherwin Brycepease, SABC News, New York.